My name is Gabe Mathews, and we're here in Spartanburg, South Carolina at Nightmare Hollow.
Would you call yourself a skeptic, a believer?
You know, that's a good question. You know, I've went to do something wrong one time, and I could swear I heard my grandpa. He was a real Christian man. Speak to me and tell me, you know, call me out before I done this, not to do that, you know. And I never believed in that, you know.
Right.
Never been a spirit believer, you know.
And he was passed away at the time.
Yeah, he got my attention. That's the only time.
And how old were you at that time?
Oh, about 15 years old. I told my mother about it. It scared me to death. And this was in the daytime too, you know. It ain't nighttime, you know. Laying in your bed thinking you hear something, or you know, it's daytime. Yeah.
Someone reaching from beyond the grave can be a
Oh,
terrifying experience.
Yeah, that scared me to death.
Well, my best friend, my
Yeah.
ex-best friend used to be a psychic or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
And she would like talk to spirits and stuff or whatever. And we were over at her house and she was like, well, some spirit's trying to talk to me, but I don't want to allow it. And her guitar stand is like in the middle of the room, you know, maybe off the corner, and it kept falling over by itself.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I was like, okay, well, what's going on? And she was like, oh, this happens sometimes, just ignore it. And I was like really scared about that. I was like 14. I was like I was just like, you know what's going on. Then she was just like, I don't want to talk to it, I don't want to talk to it. I was like, well, if it wants you to talk to it, then just talk to it. And she was like, no, I don't want to. And it fell over aggressively. About 5 minutes later, we had like flu-like symptoms and we were throwing up.
Wow. So you immediately went from, you know, feeling good to violently ill.
Yeah, and I've never been back at her house again. Like, I was so terrified. And it's literally...
Do you still keep in contact with her?
Mm-mm.
No. Yeah?
Like, it was this one time, I had a basketball game, and I seen my grandpa in the stands, but my grandpa did. And he waved at me.
I think my old house is haunted.
Your old house is haunted?
I think so.
How so?
We're about to sell it.
You know what happened, or?
Me and my mom and my whole family was eating dinner one time. And then me and my mom both, we have 2 cats. So me and my mom seen this like cat like walk across the dining room. And we were like, oh, that's weird. But it wasn't one of our cats, it was like black. And like our cats aren't black.
You think like it possibly, you know, a dark spirit could have like transformed the cat, or it could have been an apparition?
And then one time my mom came home downstairs and me and my dad were upstairs and she came home and she started talking. We're like, who are you talking to? And we asked her, she's like, oh my God, I thought Dad was down there. Like she thought she'd seen like my dad in the room, like she could see a guy. And it was me and my dad were upstairs and we were like, no, like we're both up here. She's like, oh, that's really weird. Like I don't know, it's weird. Or like we'd be watching TV and then like our TV in the living room would like flick, we would like flick the channels, and then all of a sudden it would turn black and white and fuzzy, and then like roll through the numbers at the top of the screen, but no like TV channel would be playing. It was like creepy.
Yeah, that's from the poltergeist.
Yeah. That happened like a couple times, like late at night, and me and my sister in the living room were like, oh my God, like nobody was touching the remote.
Yeah,
it was really
ghosts are
weird.
energy, and they're known to interfere with electronics devices.
So I would be driving home last year, like when I first started driving. There was another time, and then I looked in my rearview mirror, and there was like a face of like a man. And it was like, it wasn't scary though. Like I didn't get freaked out. It was kind of like a calming, like in a weird way. Like I was not scared.
Were you by yourself in
I
the
was
car?
by myself in the car.
Okay.
It was like after work, it was like late, like 10:30. And I was coming home. I look in the rear view mirror. It was like the face of a man. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I mentioned it to my mom, and because me and my mom were talking about something, and she said that she had a similar experience. Like she was in the car and she seen in the back middle seat there was like a face of a man. And we're like, that's really like interesting. And that's happened to her a couple times. That only happened to me one time. And then we would have times where like, it always happens to me and her. It's really strange. Like nobody else in our house gets this. We'll be riding in the car, and it was in her car, and like something pulled the back of my hair. And my sister was sitting in the back seat, and I turned over, was like, why'd you pull my hair? She said, what are you talking about? I didn't pull your hair. She was on her phone. And my mom is like, something pulled your hair? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, that happened to me like a couple weeks ago. She's like, I was driving down the road, somebody pulled my hair, and she was by herself coming home from work. So her brother had actually passed away in a drunk driving incident. And so we feel that maybe, and like it's not scary at all. Like you would think that would be terrifying to us, but it's not. It's scary. So she's like,
your uncle?
yes.
Yeah.
So she's just thinking like, you know, maybe it's somebody like watching over us. You know, it's like she thinks of it as like a positive thing.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay,
and
so
hear it.
they played the Ouija board the other day at their house, or no, at the trail, and then they had pictures of bruises that appeared all over them.
Really?
And then it was Halloween, and they had like they were wearing a purge outfit, and they put like Caitlin
Two bloody
put two
handprints.
bloody handprints on Hannah's shirt, and then two lighter ones appeared on the bottom. And
And they weren't like
she never
upside down, they
touched
were
them.
like perfectly straight up.
Now,
This
what do
is
you mean?
before or after the Ouija board session?
After.
Like, so you did the Ouija board session, then you saw the handprints.
No, so like it was like 2 different nights and days.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But you think
And-
maybe the Ouija board had something to do with maybe
Maybe.
waking something up?
What
or
did the Ouija
contacting?
board session? What did it tell you?
And so like we played and we asked like what its name or whatever, it said Melody. And then we quit playing it and we played like the next night. And we asked like thinking to give us a different name. It gives us the same exact
So we
name.
think Melody has some type of presence
we thought.
on
That's what we
as
thought.
name or hollow.
I think
Do
Vaughn
you know
was
any
picture.
more details about Melody? Maybe how old she was, or
She was murdered.
Yeah, she was murdered.
murdered? Or, like, if you were to guess how you think that she was murdered,
She
what
said
do you-
don't ask.
She told us don't ask.
not to ask about murder.
And she said she was an evil spirit.
Yeah, I'm here to hurt us. And then that car they were pulling in
The
the
same night
parking
of
lot,
with the handprints.
and going down the road, she was on full, and the car says it was on empty. And then when she pulled in, the brakes quit working, and it wouldn't work, it wouldn't stop. And she thought it was going to hit, but they finally stopped.
So you think that the Ouija board session, the handprints, and the car are all
Yeah.
related? So you think they're kind of some type of entity on this property?
No, the house I live in, like, the only other person that's ever lived in there is this, like, old woman, and she passed away, and then her family sold the house to us, and, like, crap happens in that house all the time. Like, so it was, like, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I sleep with my fan on, so, you know, you have to turn the switch off and then pull the string. And to get the light to come back on, you have to pull the string. So it's, like, 4 o'clock in the morning, and my light just comes on. It couldn't have been nobody messing with me, because, like, my room's big, and they would have had to, like, open the door, run in, pull the string, and run. Like, yeah.
Well, I mean, ghosts are energy and are able to.
A lot of times I'll wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and my bedroom door will just be locked.
From the inside.
Yeah.
But you don't think this is anyone related to you or any.
I did have a friend that passed away like a year ago, and it was around the same time, so that's crossed
Would
my
she be
mind.
wanting to try to tell you something?
I have no idea. A lot of stuff happened. She has a son, my friend who passed away. She has a 2-year-old son, and his dad was telling me that they had like this little toy drum that you have to like hit it for it to make music or light up.
Yeah.
It doesn't have like an automatic setting on it, and they were like playing in the playroom one day, and the drum just started going crazy. I mean, to me that was her. When my sister was a teenager, she used to go to Calvin's Battlefield to like just explore at nighttime, and a lot. I was really little, but she told me a lot of like really scary stories that happened there, like them just feeling like people were like behind them, but they turn around and there was nobody, but they could like hear footsteps and stuff. Something about they took like back when they had flip phones, they took a phone and they were like recording through it. And a girl I work with now, she said she had the phone for the longest time, and she's like the one who kept the phone, and there was like a lot of weird like stuff that got picked up on it. And she said, not actually in the field, but afterwards, I guess because she was the one that kept the phone, like a lot of stuff would happen to her. Like she'd wake up in the middle of the night and her like windows would be open, or like stuff would be moved, and like there was something that like stayed with her for a really long time. She is really freaked out about it, like because that happened to her, like she quit messing with stuff altogether.
A lot of people believe here when I was in high school, they'd go to the Hell's Gates.
So we had heard about Hell's Gate.
And
So I went through it.
they swear up and down about that. I ain't going down there. No. Ain't no way.
And
We went down there one time when I was in high school. And we pulled up down there, and a lot of satanic markings and stuff. I mean, these are old Civil War headstones and stuff, you know. And they took satanic markings everywhere. It was literally fresh goat heads hanging in a tree down there. When we got out and walked down through there, you know, I'm like, this ain't my cup of tea, fella. That scared me to death right there, you know. My first thought was somebody killing me down there, you know. instead of looking for ghosts.
To like a sacrificial area.
Oh yeah, and these people go down there and believe in that stuff now.
So you think there's a lot of Satanists that go
Oh
to Hell's
yeah.
No, they big enough boys.
Wait, we can't go inside Hell's Gate? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's at night. Like it's
like the
there's
security.
satanic rituals get performed there. Like it's like dark. They already kicked away the Ghost Adventurers curse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You been to Crybaby?
Yes, and I had a whole heart attack. At first, we were just sitting there, and our car just decided to go in neutral. And I was like, okay, how did our car just go in neutral like that? And me, I'm not about to get out the car to go put the baby powder, so they went and put out the baby powder. But then I was like, if something happens, I had like 911 dialed. I was like, if something happens, I'm gonna call 911. And my phone just goes blank. No, and then I started crying, and I was like, there's no way I can get out of this. And then my car wouldn't go. And then we put baby powder prints on the back, and then there was like handprints, and I was done. I was like, there's no more me handling this.
So I've heard about the handprints.
Yeah.
Like, you put the baby powder. How long did it take before baby powder on it to get handprints? Is it like
a minute, maybe?
Minute?
Maybe.
So if we went to Crybaby Bridge, what time do you think? Like, when's a good time to go there?
I went at 4:30 a.m. in the morning. I actually thought I was gonna die. Never again will I ever go.